Today we're gonna compose a bass line in the style of Duff of Guns N' Roses. We're gonna go from this to this. In the case of Duff, tone is absolutely crucial, more than anything else. In fact, for the most part in Guns N' Roses, the bass pretty much doubles the guitar, but the tone is what really makes it stand out among every other player. It's the holy grail of any rock and roll bass player, and today we're gonna see how to get it. In this case, gear is a huge factor. To record Appetite for Destruction and Use Your Illusion, Duff used the Japanese jazz bass special. You will not get the typical tone in any other way. You can get pretty close with the jazz bass using the bridge pickup or both pickups and tweaking the EQ a bit, but the jazz special is what you want. I happen to own a jazz special with a Seymour Duncan pickup, so I'm gonna use this. Regarding amps, Duff used the Gallien-Kruger 800 RB, which I also have, but we're gonna go straight into the soundboard to simplify things a little bit. Next, EQ. Duff's tone is bright, biting with very strong mids. Again, it depends on the amp you're using, but as a rule of thumb, you want to cut down the low mids and boost the high mids. This is key to get the bright attack that make the strings pop out. You also want to use some fresh strings because you're not going to get the attack if you're using moldy flat one strings, so get yourself some DR Pure Blues and you're all set. Finally, compression. Compression is a big part of Duff McKagan's punchy and percussive tone. A lot of people are gonna go, be careful with compression, use it moderately. No, you wanna squash that bitch. If you listen to the isolated bass in Appetite for Destruction, it is really compressed. So regarding compression, again, it depends on your pedal, hand, amp settings, but a good starting point would be a high ratio between 4:1 and 8:1, attack around 20 to 40 milliseconds, release about 80 to 120, and a threshold around 3 to 60 beats. You want to glue the bass to the bass drum. That funky bass effect you hear on the records is not just the bass guitar, it's a combination of the bass guitar with the kick and snare. Now in GNR, both the kick and snare have a lot of low end, they're boomy with a lot of reverb. The bass, on the other hand, is not, so it really stands out. Now it's much better. One more very important thing to get Duff's tone is you have to pick every note. Forget hammer-ons, slides, legato. You gotta take the fucking pick and stick it into every note like it's a knife. Regarding composition, we're gonna stick with the guitar riff for the most part, but one thing we're gonna add is some ghost notes. Duff plays a lot of ghost notes. You don't really hear them in the records because they're ghost notes, but they're there. They add an extra layer of percussive sound and help create that funky feeling in his bass lines. Next, we want to add some little high register chromatic licks in the second part of the track. Duff has a great sense of melody. He has some super cool licks, especially in Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Check out Locomotive, Yesterday's, Pretty Tied Up, and so on. Mostly Duff uses minor and major pentatonic, blues scale, chromatic scale, so we're gonna keep it simple. Another staple of Duff's playing is doubling the snare fills with a high register note. If you listen to Locomotive, Civil War, or Sweet Child O' Mine, you hear that Duff often doubles the drum fills, especially on the snare. It's really cool and sounds very Duff. The combination of the boomy snare drum and the trebly bass tone is one of the trademarks of Guns N' Roses rhythm section. Another thing you can do is play the first verse and the second verse slightly differently. Duff does it all the time. For me, Duff McKagan is the quintessential rock bass player. The tone, the look, the attitude. He's the guy who made me start playing bass. Back then, I knew nothing about gear, tone, theory, and I thought he was the coolest bass player on earth. 30 years later, after listening to thousands of songs, making records, playing thousands of gigs, I still think so. The final touch we're gonna add today is a chorus effect. Now, it's not omnipresent, but especially on the Use Your Illusion records, when it's there, it steals the scene. Duff used the light boss CE2 chorus on some tracks of Appetite for Destruction and became more present in songs like Pretty Tied Up or Civil War on the Use Your Illusion records. It remained a key part of his tone in that era, giving it some sheen and separation in the mix. It gives the bass an immediately recognizable flavor and a unique touch to the overall sound of GNR. Now let's put everything together and see how it goes. That was our Duff McKagan bassline. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and I'll see you next time.